So I've talked about this already on my YouTube channel. I talked about how the Wii U is getting a lot of ports, especially ports of Wii U games, and that only makes sense. If you take a look at the Wii U only sold about 13 million units, and it makes sense that Nintendo would want to port over these games to the Switch. I'm sure it doesn't take a lot of development time to just change the coding really quickly and port them over to the Switch. And the fact a lot of people didn't own the Wii U means that a lot of people do get to experience these great games, and they'll pretty much get free money since, like I said, they won't probably have a lot of development time to just change some quick code around to make it run on the Switch. So it's kind of like free money for Nintendo. So why wouldn't Nintendo port these Wii U games over to the Switch? And I'm actually glad that they're porting some of these Wii U games over to the Switch, just because if you try to go from the Switch to the Wii U, you will know how clunky the UI is on the Wii U. Games load slower on the Wii U. Overall, the experience on the Wii U is not as great as the Nintendo Switch. And the fact now, since they're porting over these Wii U games to the Switch, you can actually get to take these games on the go, whereas of course on the Wii U you couldn't really take these games on the go with you. So it is nice, we are getting some extra functionality when it comes to playing these games on the Nintendo Switch. And it looks like Nintendo is not just porting over a lot of these Wii U games over to the Switch. It looks like when they're porting these games over to the Wii U, they're actually giving gamers much more content that weren't available originally in the original version of the game. And so they're actually trying to kill two birds with one stone. They're actually trying to get gamers who never bought the Wii U to buy these games, and they're actually trying to get people who've already owned the Wii U in the past to re-buy these games by adding new content. And I absolutely love that fact. Like for instance, if you played Mario Kart 8, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe came out on the Switch, and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe actually added new cards, some new characters, and it actually had a revamped battle mode, which did not exist on the Wii U version. And same thing with Pokken Tournament. Pokken Tournament, they added a couple of different characters, they've added some new things in the game to make it fresh, and they even added new DLC recently to that game, which wasn't available in the Wii U game, and that's absolutely fantastic. So it seems like a lot of these games coming out that are Nintendo first-party titles that are ports of Wii U games are getting more functionality that weren't already in the original release, and that even extends to some ports that are third-party ports. Like if you look at Skyrim, for instance, Skyrim is not just a straight replica of the game on any other console. If you were to play Skyrim on the Nintendo Switch, you actually get amiibo functionality, and you actually get a Zelda costume for your character in the game, and that's absolutely fantastic. So it's not just Nintendo realizing that they want to add extra content, it's some third parties. Some third parties want to add some extra functionality you can't get anywhere else besides the Nintendo Switch, and they want to do that for the Nintendo Switch crowd. And I absolutely think that is a fantastic idea. And is that necessarily going to be the case for every single game? Well, it looks like that's not necessarily the case for every single game. One game that really has me disappointed that's coming out in the near future, I think it's coming out this month to be exact. I could be wrong about the release date. I did not look up the release date after I found out how disappointed I was in the game, so I apologize if it's not coming out this month. It may be coming out sometime in the near future because I'm pretty disappointed. The game I'm talking about is Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze that came out on the Wii U. It is a port of a Wii U game, and they threw it on the Nintendo Switch, but that's pretty much it. And the one thing I don't enjoy about Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze being ported over to the Switch is the fact that they actually increased the price of the game, believe it or not. If you know, back on the Wii U, it was actually a $50 game. It never came out at the full $60 price tag. It was one weird situation where Nintendo thought, well, this game's only worth $50, so let's throw it out at $50. But now they're saying it's on Switch. Let's bump up the value to $60. What makes them want to bump it up to $60? Not just them bumping it up to $60 makes me mad. The fact that there is pretty much nothing new about the game, which absolutely makes me mad. Why bump up the game to $60 and then add nothing to the game? I can see them bumping the game up to $60 and then adding new content, and I would be okay with the increase in price, but the increase in price is not warranted here, just because where's the new content that you're adding to the game? Granted, they did change something to the game, I have to be honest, and I'm going to explain that really quickly, but there's nothing there's not enough new to where I think it's worth a $60. They may say, well, let's tack on the $60 price tag because, well, the Switch is a on-the-go system, and on-the-go portability may be enough for people to pay $60 even if they've already played it on the Wii U. The only thing I can see them changing in the game was pretty much adding a Funky Kong mode. Now you can play as Funky Kong, whereas in the original release of the game you could not play as Funky Kong. Funky Kong is great and all, but it's not really a new character. It's pretty much a way to play the game in an easy mode. It's pretty much how you can complete the game if you have struggles with the game, because if you know nothing about Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, then you will know Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze is a very hard game, and a lot of people may not even be able to complete that game. So in order for people to complete that game, Nintendo decided on the Switch, let's make a way for new people or people who aren't good at platformers to beat the game, and now you can use Funky Kong. Funky Kong is great and all. He has a surfboard and he has much more jumps, and he can go over like spikes and things like that. Well, that's great, but if you've already beaten the game back on the Wii U, what's the real incentive of buying it on the Switch? Sure, I can take this game on the go. I get Funky Kong, which pretty much is an easy mode and things like that, but outside of that there's really no incentive to really be picking this game up for an additional cost as well, and this thing is kind of disappointing. Sure, we do get better load times. I do have to mention that we do get better load times, and most likely we get better resolution. I don't even know if it played at 1080p on the Wii U. It could have played at 1080p on the Wii U. I'm not sure for anything, so don't quote me on that. I'm not sure if it played at 1080p on the Wii U, but some of those changes are nice, like the loading and probably better graphics, but outside of that, there's nothing really crazy going on with this game that makes me want to pay the full $60 game, especially since I own a Wii U and I have played that game. And there is one other thing that's pretty sad about this game. If you already own a Wii U right now, definitely do not pick up this game on the Switch for $60. Let me explain why. If you remember a couple of years ago, they did their Nintendo Selects. They like doing these Nintendo Selects on a lot of different consoles. I think they've done it on the Wii, they've definitely done it on the 3DS, and they've done it on the Wii U. If you don't know what Nintendo Selects are a very specific set of games which Nintendo things that are very special games that deserves everybody's attention, and they make those games a set price and they never vary. So once they claim those games as Nintendo Select games, then they're a set price. And the ones on the Wii U I think are $20. So right now you can pick up Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze on the Wii U for exactly $20. So that's even more incentive not to buy this game on the Nintendo Switch at a full $60 price tag. So if you still have a Wii U somehow, or if you can get access to a Wii U, then I highly suggest paying your $20 for this game. This game is an absolutely fun game. It's a very hard game, don't get me wrong, but it's still a very fun game. I'm not trying to knock the game on the Switch as a port. I think it's a good port. I think if you haven't played the game before and you don't own a Wii U, or you're not going to try to buy a Wii U, because Wii U's are still quite fairly expensive, if you already own a Switch, then go ahead and throw your 60 bones out there and pay for the game at full price. You won't feel like you're getting robbed. But for Wii U owners who may have never played the game and own a Wii U, or Wii U owners who have bought the game and already played it previously, then there's really no incentive to buy this game. But then again, I have really no reason to complain, because it's not like every game Nintendo ports over to the Nintendo Switch from the Wii U needs to have additional content and needs to cater the crowd who have already bought the Wii U and played the Wii U. So some games, I guess, are okay if they don't add too much to the game, because they don't need to please every single person. I think what Nintendo is trying to do here with Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze is they're trying to actually accommodate the people who've never played the game before and never owned a Wii U who want to play this game, and they want to make it easier for the players. So they add this Funky Kong mode that makes the game easier, and those people won't feel like they're getting robbed, even though they're paying a higher price tag and they never owned a Wii U and they're just getting a Funky Kong mode inside the game. So I can kind of understand where Nintendo is trying to go with this. I think they just tried to throw this out there primarily for the non-Wii U owners and people who never owned a Wii U, so I can understand that, because other games they've already worked a lot on, like I said, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and all these other games which have additional content, and the fact that another game, Captain Toad, is going to have additional content, that makes me happy as well. So you can see they are working on a lot of other games with additional content, which are ports of Wii U games, and they don't all need to have additional content, I guess. But this is just one game. I'm really kind of disappointed from Nintendo. I don't know why they couldn't give us a whole new world or some new stages or something different in the game besides just throwing on Funky Kong and calling it a day and increasing the price tag. It really is a bummer. Anyway, guys, this is Wayne from My Tech News. signing out.